The National Basketball Association has been around since the mid-1940s, but the sports league's Portland chapter began 50 years ago in the year 1970. Harry Glickman developed an interest in creating an NBA team in his hometown of Portland, Oregon, due to the construction of the Memorial Coliseum in 1960. Maurice Podolov, the NBA commissioner at the time, thought that Oregon was just too remote and refused Glickman's request to start a team in Portland. However, there would soon be a new commissioner, Walter S. Kennedy. Kennedy liked the idea of expanding the league into the West. So on February 6, 1970, the NBA Board of Governors granted Portland the rights to a franchise. The Buffalo Braves and Cleveland Cavaliers were also founded in the same Western campaign. Just like Harry Glickman, I was also born and raised in Portland, Oregon, and I am a huge Blazers fan. I go to games all the time, and I am having constant debates with friends over the question, who is the greatest Trailblazer of all time? Names like Zach Randolph, Brandon Roy, or Arvydas Sabonis are thrown out all the time, but it usually comes down to three suspects: Bill Walton, Clyde Drexler, and the letter O, Damian Lillard. During this documentary, I will attempt to answer the question once and for all. I will be scoring the players on three different levels: career statistics and accomplishments, skill set and play style, and fan and player opinion. This will hopefully address every part of the game that makes these talented players who they are. William Theodore Walton III, commonly known as Bill Walton, was born in La Mesa, California in the year 1952. He was the son of a music teacher and a librarian. He attended Helix High School, where his struggles with injuries would begin after he broke his ankle, foot, and leg. Surgery seemed to have corrected this issue, so he continued his basketball career. He went on to go to UCLA and get drafted with the number 1 pick by the Portland Trailblazers in the 1974 NBA Draft. Walton's career got off to a great start, averaging 16 points, 19 rebounds, and 4 blocks a game, which is just absolutely staggering. But his young career was halted due to recurring foot problems and fracturing a wrist. However, he came back to have quite the NBA career. When he was healthy, Walton had few equals. He was a hustler, an intimidator, a leader, and good lord was he a shot blocker. Everyone who played against him respected and feared him, but his injuries always held him back from being in the top tier of NBA legends. A man of principle, Walton was arrested his junior year of college for protesting the Vietnam War. Afterwards, he issued a statement that said, "Your generation has screwed up the world. My generation is trying to straighten it out. Money doesn't mean anything to me. It can't buy happiness, and I just want to be happy." He was always a big personality, but refused to talk to press for many years, only speaking with a few reporters that he happened to like. The press ran with this and made him out to be a jerk, but later he admitted this was because of a speech impediment and fear that he would be thought of as a bumbling, unintelligent big man. However, this couldn't be farther from the truth. He was a passionate activist, as evident by his arrest, and debated straying away from basketball to pursue a life of spiritual enlightenment. Walton was praised by coaches and players alike in his playing years and the years since. His coach in Portland, Dr. Jack Ramsey, said that Bill Russell was a great shot blocker, Wilt Chamberlain was a great offensive player, but Walton can do it all. And while being loved by coaches, Walton was worshipped by fans. Blazer Mania was the biggest sports phenomenon to hit the city of Portland. He was a hero to the people of Oregon. Bill Walton had solid career statistics and outstanding accomplishments. In the 4 years he was with the Blazers, he was an MVP, he made all-defensive team twice, and was the 1976-1977 season leader in blocks and rebounds. He was really putting in that work in his Portland days. While the rest of his career was less impressive, this is about his career with the Trailblazers, and Bill Walton is commonly thought of as a Blazer within the hearts and minds of fans. His career point statistics were not mind-blowing, only averaging 13.3 points a game, but he did average a double-double for his career with 10.5 rebounds a game. He kept a respectable field goal percentage for his career with 52.1% and had a free throw percentage of 66%. The most important accomplishment of his career, however, has to be the NBA championship he won back in 1977. The series took place against Dr. J, Julius Erving, and his 76ers. It didn't get off to a great start for the Blazers, with them losing the first 2 games. It looked like it could be over for the Blazers. However, they went on to win 4 straight games, finishing the series in 6 games. This is the Trailblazers' only final win ever and cemented Bill Walton as a legend in the city of Portland.
And they feet in Portland, with their Blazers trailing 2-0. Walton on the lob. Oh, he got it in! Bill Walton got it in! Twardzik and Gross. What a sequence for the Blazers! Walton again, twice at the basket. I can't believe that first play.
Here we go, the inbound of McGinnis. Drive, stop, pump, shoot, short, no good. And the Portland Trailblazers have won the World Championship.
I've never coached a better player. I've never coached a better competitor. And I've never coached a better person than Bill Walton.
David Higdon, a writer for the NBA, wrote, "Before that special season nearly 3 decades ago, the Blazers had never even been in the playoffs. But they did not only win a championship, they won it with a team style that was so beautiful that it is still respected and revered not only by purists who say it is the classic case of the game being played exactly the way it was supposed to be played, but also by opponents who were mesmerized and victimized." Clyde the Glide Drexler was born on June 22, 1962 in New Orleans, Louisiana. He moved to Houston, Texas at a young age and attended Ross Sterling High School. He played baseball in high school but couldn't make the varsity basketball team his first 2 years despite being 6'6". Finally, he made the team after his sophomore year and played at center. He was a highly sought-after prospect and eventually decided on attending the University of Houston. Drexler was a successful academic and majored in finance. After college, he was drafted by the Portland Trailblazers with the 1983 NBA draft. He was the 14th overall pick. He didn't have a great start to his NBA career, only averaging 7.7 points per game his rookie year. Not a contender for Rookie of the Year. But his second season was his breakout one, averaging 17.2 points, 5.6 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2.6 steals. His stats got incrementally better over the next couple years, and his third season saw him become an all-star. In the 1989-1990 season, the Trailblazers finally made it back to the NBA Finals with the help of Drexler averaging 26.4 points and 7.8 rebounds. But the team lost to the Detroit Pistons in 5 games. The next season, Drexler led Portland to a franchise-best 63-19 record. Many believed they would go on to win the championship, but an upset in the Western Conference Finals put an end to their high hopes. Clyde has always been a fan favorite, and that is evident through him having 3 of his jerseys retired. His Cougars jersey from college was retired at the University of Houston, as well as his 2 NBA jerseys, the Trailblazers and the Rockets. His stardom has been cemented in the NBA history with his role on the USA Olympic Dream Team, where he was a key player. Anyone with a well-known nickname like the Glide is clearly going to be a popular player amongst fans. He got his nickname obviously from his skills above the rim, but also from his easygoing and laid-back personality. Fans voted him into competing in multiple NBA dunk contests. Being in a smaller, less media-heavy city like Portland made him get less recognition around the country, but he was always extremely popular in the city of Portland. Clyde Drexler made many accomplishments throughout his career with the National Basketball Association. For his career, Drexler averaged 20.4 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 5.6 assists, with a career field goal percentage of 47.2% and 31.8% from 3. He was an All-Star 10 times and made the All-NBA team 5 times. He was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2006. He was in second place for MVP voting multiple times and would have most likely won if it wasn't for the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, playing at the same time as him. One of his greatest and most unique accomplishments for his career is joining Oscar Robertson and John Havlicek as the only players in NBA history to top 20,000 points, 6,000 rebounds, and 3,000 assists. Of course, the man known as the Glide is going to have some hops. Drexler was known throughout his career and even today as one of the top NBA players in history in terms of athleticism and leaping ability. He competed in multiple NBA dunk contests throughout the 80s. He had mastered the art of the aerial attack. He also had the speed to match, but most important was his ability to flat out score. He had 10 seasons as one of the top scorers in the league. In the 1986-1987 season, he joined Magic Johnson and Larry Bird as the only players in the league to average more than 21 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. He also finished 5th in the NBA with an average of 2.49 steals per game. He even bumped up his scoring in the playoffs to 24 points per game, but was knocked out in the first round by his former college teammate Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. Drexler's career in Portland was plagued with disappointing playoff runs, repeatedly getting knocked out within the first round. He was never able to quite put it together in Portland and only won a championship after leaving the city. Damian Lillard was born in Oakland, California in the year 1990. Oakland is a large part of what makes Damian Damian. He says that he does not wear the number 0, but the letter O for Oakland. He was underappreciated in high school and struggled to interest scouts. He attended St. Joseph Notre Dame High School, which is the same school as NBA legend Jason Kidd attended, but lack of playing time made him decide to transfer to Oakland High School. He was first team All-League his junior and senior years. Lillard averaged 19.4 points a night his junior year, and as a senior he averaged 22.4 points and 5.2 assists per game, while leading the Oakland Okers to a 23-9 record. Like I said, he was not heavily recruited, but was offered and accepted a scholarship to play at Weber State in Ogden, Utah. Lillard had a decent first 2 years at Weber State, but his junior year is when things really took off. Lillard averaged 24.5 points and led the nation in scoring throughout most of the year. On December 3, 2011, against San Jose State, Lillard scored a college career-high 41 points, including a game-winning three-point play to give his team a 2-point double overtime win. He went on to win the Player of the Year award in his college conference that year. In 2012, he was drafted to the Blazers with the 6th overall pick. Damian Lillard is an all-out assassin. He has been and continues to be one of the most clutch players of all time, coming through when it matters most, in the biggest, most career-defining moments. Throughout his career, he has hit many buzzer-beating game-winning shots, but even more notable is that he has one of the most unique and impressive accomplishments in NBA history. In the entirety of NBA history, there has only been 6 moments when the playoff series is on the line that one shot has determined the outcome of the series. Those being when Ralph Sampson did it in 1986,
On the clock. Sampson. It goes. It's over. A miraculous shot.
Michael Jordan in 1989,
He gives to Jordan. Jordan to the circle, puts the shot in the air. Good! The game's over, and the Bulls have...
John Stockton in 1977,
Stockton, open three, hit it! John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals.
Kawhi Leonard in 2019,
Up top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win. Got it! Kawhi Leonard!
and Damian Lillard in 2014 and 2019.
He wins the series. It's Lillard. He got the shot off. Lillard, good! Good! And the Blazers win the series for the first. They're home. Lillard, long-range three, and it's good! At the buzzer! Damian.
So out of all the times it has ever come down to a single shot to decide who wins the series, Damian Lillard has a third of those moments to his name. This clearly cements Dame as one of the clutchest players to ever compete in the NBA. On top of that astonishing accomplishment, Damian Lillard has tremendous career statistics. For his career so far, he has averaged 23.8 points, the most of anyone in consideration, 4.2 rebounds, and 6.4 assists. He also has great percentages with his field goal percentage at 43.5% and his three-point percentage at 36.8%. Some might argue that Damian has not finished his career and is on the better half of it, so these statistics are unfair. I would argue against this point for two reasons. The first being that Damian has already played 592 games in his career. That is more than Bill Walton did in his entire career and is closing in on how many Clyde played. And Damian is playing in today's game, which, let's just be honest, is a lot more physically straining on the body than any other eras. The second reason is that Damian Lillard is already 29, which might not sound very old, but for a basketball player, that's getting up there. Damian has already passed the ages that Bill and Clyde were at when they had their debatably best seasons. And Damian is arguably having his best season yet. And on top of that, Bill and Clyde weren't instant successes in the league. Bill Walton did get injured, but still, it took a while for them to adjust to the physicality and skill of the NBA. Damian Lillard did not need any time to mature. He won Rookie of the Year in 2013, as well as being on the All-Rookie team. He averaged 19 points as a rookie. He came into the league as a pure scorer. And let's talk about his insane range. The man can hit from just about anywhere. He's not too bad on the inside either. He's not the best passing or defending guard, but if you need the ball to go in the hoop, especially from way downtown or in a crucial moment, he's your man. And if you don't believe me, here's sports commentator and sports talk show host Stephen A. Smith on Damian Lillard.
Give me one word you'd use to describe Lillard.
When I think about this kid, Damian Lillard, picked 6th overall in the 2012 NBA draft, the word that comes to my mind more than anything is underappreciated. I am not saying that he's a better pure point guard than Chris Paul. I'm not saying he's a better shooter than the greatest shooter that I have ever seen, which is Steph Curry. I am not saying that he is more athletic than a Russell Westbrook. And I understand everybody out there who would pick those guys ahead of him as a point guard because of those superlatives about their excellent skills that I have pointed out. But I need to make sure everybody understands that, you know what, I'm going to give the ultimate compliment to Damian Lillard. He's a bad brother. This dude is special. I watched this kid last night, sitting at my house, watching this brother just take over 1 3 after another, after another, after another. Comes off the bench, Max, with a little more than 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Scores 18 points, Molly, 14 straight. Just took over. And it's not the kind of luck shots or anything like that. I mean, a little move to the little pump fake here, little dance, little pull up, going to the hole, doing what he wants when he wants. Deceptive quickness, obviously a joy to get into the hole, doing what he does. This brother is a big shot maker.
He's been a fan favorite since a rookie thanks to clutch shots like this one.
Corner, here's Babbitt, back to Lillard. Lillard for the win.
Yes!
It had been a quiet half for Damian.
Like I said, he won Rookie of the Year and was an instant success in Portland. His continued loyalty to the city has only elevated his star status. Damian and his amazing shooting has brought back a certain level of Blazer mania to Portland, and his surprisingly successful rap career gives him major points in this category. Alright, I've discussed the players enough and it is time to pick someone. Once again, the categories I was scoring the Blazers off of was fan and player opinion, career statistics and accomplishments, and skill set and playstyle. The first category was probably the easiest for me to make a decision on, and I'm going to have to give it to Bill. Blazer Mania was one of the biggest events in the city of Portland. Winning a title there is something that anyone who lived in Portland in the 70s remembers. Another reason is how much praise Walton received from coaches and teammates alike, many of them saying that he was the best player they had ever seen.
A fierce competitor who wanted to win and would do whatever he had to do to win. First of all, he knew he could score.
There's Walton looking over that shoulder. There's a shot clock on the turnaround.
And he knew he was a great passer. He was also a very good shot blocker, an excellent rebounder. I can still visualize in my mind him going up high to get a defensive rebound, turning while he was in the air, outletting the ball to a perimeter player to start the fast break.
The next category, career statistics and accomplishments, was probably the hardest for me to decide on who should win it. Bill Walton has such a good case for it. With the combination of averaging a double-double, all of his many career accomplishments, and being inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame in 1993, Bill Walton has made it clear that he's not only one of the best Trailblazers of all time, but one of the best centers. And the fact that he was the only one out of these three to actually win a title in the city of Portland is a huge boost. I felt like I might have to give it to him for that reason alone. I mean, it's all about the championships. Clyde also had a pretty good case for this one since he has by far the most All-Star appearances in all NBA teams out of the three of them. He was also in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but I have to give it to Damian Lillard because he might have not had as much team success as the other guys, but he has definitely had the most individual success. And this isn't about how well their teams did, this is about how good they are as players. Damian averages the most points and assists of anyone in consideration and has the highest three-point percentage. He also is the only one out of these three to come into the league winning awards like Rookie of the Year. And just the fact that he has such a unique accomplishment to his name, like having the most series-winning buzzer beaters of anyone ever, is something truly special. And the final tipping point for him in this category is that he and players like him have revolutionized the game. 10 years ago, the idea of a 30-foot bomb being a good shot for someone was ridiculous. Now there's a whole generation of kids growing up wanting to be like Damian Lillard and Steph Curry. Alright, it all comes down to this, skill set and play style. Who will win it all? Will the big man pull through? Will Dame Dalla clutch this as well? Or will I give the final one to Clyde as some everyone's a winner bullshit? This one was also pretty hard, but I think I'm going to have to give it to Damian Lillard. Bill did not have much of a case for this one, being that he was a beast in the paint, but let's just be honest, shooting is harder than layups and dunking. And if Bill Walton was 6'2" like Damian, I would bet a lot of money he would not be nearly as good of a player. Clyde had a pretty good shot at this one with his breathtaking leaps and solid shooting. I'm not gonna lie, the man can dunk the ball, and I feel bad for not giving him anything, because he is a great player. But threes count more than twos in the game of basketball. Damian's insane range and consistency beyond the arc, coupled with his pretty good inside game, makes him a lethal threat. And I'm gonna say it once more. If you've run out of options and you just need a basket to seal the game, Damian Lillard has got you covered. In a lot of ways, this was like comparing eras of the game. You have the old school big man who, if you can get it to him in the paint, he can get you a bucket. You have the 80s and 90s high-flying, tough-shooting two-guard. And then finally, you have the 2010s era of the point guard represented in one player with insane range and impressive athleticism. And yes, I'm a fan of the game in the modern era, so my opinions might be biased, but in a way, I feel like my opinions should be biased. Basketball is about more than just the players and their skills. It's about the city you're from and the heroes you grew up with. And of course, the villains you grew up hating. I think to a certain extent, we need heroes and villains growing up to teach us lessons. To teach us that we don't always get our way, but also that the hero always prevails. Whether it's the Golden State Warriors of this decade, the Chicago Bulls of the 80s and 90s, or Blazer Mania in the 70s, the prominent sports teams impact generations. It is a way for people to connect and get to know each other. I've had countless hour-long conversations with people I've never met before, just simply asking them if they like sports. That is the most important part of sports, the ability to bring people together.
Yo, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yo, wanted to drop a beat on him. Damian Lillard.
Woo!
Sway in the morning, shade 4-5. Yeah.
Look. Me being the chosen one was like a blessing in deception. City known for homicide, majority depression. Grinding in the gym so I could live through the recession. Real goons show me love cause they could feel how I'm connected. Background of a street dude, mind of a scholar. Just to pop our collar, man, we climbing for the dollar. I mean it when I say it, bro, we started from the bottom. Childhood friends dropping like leaves in this autumn. Don't believe time is money. Money is time. When you focus, man, you look up and your money is fine. I'm from a city where your friend will put a gun in your mind. Cause you eatin' and they envy all that glory and shine. I swear to God it gets realer. A city full of killers, addicts walking around looking like the zombies off a Thriller. It's sick and getting iller. That's why my skin thicker. Now you see why brothers wanna get away. Grab a Snicker. My mission took me to college where I picked up the knowledge and tried to stay away from violence inside. Escape the virus divided my folks from tyrants. But I rise from that environment in my life. It was perfect timing. My drive blew me up atomic.